Happy Halloween and hello from my autumn garden in Cubeus. My brother-in-law Enrique kindly fixed my broken hexagon garden frames. The apricot survived the hot summer with calendula and marigolds down below and some nasturtium, a few of which have escaped into the rock bed, but I'm going to let it ride. This one, which is a little apple, did well enough with the same combination. Replanted a bit for the nasturtium because they were hit really hard with aphids this spring. This little bed is doing fine. Only 2 of the 4 new roses came through the summer. Queen Elizabeth definitely didn't make it. I think that this orange or peach is either Adolf Horstmann or Bettina, and that Grand Nord, which is a white or a pale yellow next to it, have done well. But I had another kind of orange or peace rose style tea rose that I don't think made it through. Got a few tomatoes growing. They look like they're growing on that volunteer olive, but they've just sprawled out. And happy to have left that tooth lavender. This is becoming a cottage garden. It will never be a formal space while I'm in charge, so letting it roll. The red valerian with some toys in it isn't really where I want it, but it's thriving and it has blooms that bring butterflies. And so I'm going to let that be. When it dies back, I might really give it a big haircut. We've got some work to do putting things away that were for pool maintenance, but the tarp is on for winter and it's filling above with rainwater, which the wood pigeons in particular are taking great advantage of and enjoying. Been sifting out some okay soil to deal with the builder's rock that is where I dug the holes for the fruit trees. I still am not quite sure what to do with that. It ended up in containers. And I've got new starts going. I did kind of a multi-pack approach. I will celebrate whatever thrives, but there are 2 color of marigold, calendula, a couple of random carrot seeds. I don't think I put nasturtiums in this batch, and I need to remind myself that the 5 biggest pots don't have anything in them yet. Those might get apple seeds or something. And I also kind of winding down this garden and using up my containers. The far end of this is being treated like a sandbox at the moment. I'm sifting out rock and relocating it. This was someone else's veg garden before it was mine to play with, and the ground below wasn't prepared particularly. I put a lot of compost in from my last home that had been developing on the balcony, but really there's a lot of rock. Some of it is rock I put in there that's expanded clay that's meant to help hold soil. But a lot of it is just rock. So I'm screening with an old quail panel, and it's kind of like sandbox days for me, like a little kid, getting some of it into containers. These containers also are kind of strategically blocking a gap between the driveway and the raised part of the bed, which tends to grow stuff I don't want. It collects all of the pine needle that drops. It makes good pine needle based soil, but then I end up with a lot of pellitory is the biggest headache, the one that grows by the wall. So a couple of trees made it. This apple's dying back. It probably doesn't appreciate that I've been digging around it, or maybe that's just autumn. This behind it is either a peach or an almond. I genuinely can't remember. Hopefully I've said on video somewhere. And the back row, I think, are going to be tall, beautiful hollyhocks that I brought seed back from Lund when I traveled summer before last. They also might just turn out to be run-of-the-mill purple malva, which is common here. Instead of, I think it's the Latin is royal malva for the hollyhocks. They are related, I'm pretty sure. But anyway, I'm hoping to get a chicken run built under these 4 posts, and we'll need to put some supports in for doors and things like that. Got mostly carrots and a few purple cabbage growing under this extra quail cage. The squirrel pressure and the bird pressure is really pretty intense here. And I've thought back about it, and I'm pretty sure that these, which I hope were fruit trees, are actually just willow whips, or what is it? Something that I trimmed as an experiment out of Park Central in San Cugat. I think those are the ones that you can make very cool shapes with and cut back, and that people make awesome fences out of them. I'm saying willow, but I'm having my doubts. But they are not fruit trees, and they are not really positioned where it makes any sense. So the remaining peppers that are there will overwinter or not. And some of the flowers that I put in did terribly. In particular, the echinacea had turned black. I thought they were underwatered, but maybe they were overwatered. Sometimes when I ask family for help, I say, would you water my, and they do it heavily once instead of, a little bit weekly. But this was not a particularly productive garden, but I had a good time with it anyway. I did get onion sets that, if replanted next year, will be ready to be awesome onions, but are not big enough to be excited about this year. And I learned some things about where the sun falls and where it's too dry and where water pours off the garage roof. And I'm ready to try again. I'm headed back to the hospital for another procedure related to my gallbladder. So I've had a laparoscopy and can't really do everything I'd like to do, but I'm putting a little bit of energy outside while I can. And I'm the biggest garden enthusiast in my family, so the mess and the success and whatever are mine. But that's my update from Kubea's house. And I hope where you are, you're getting outside. Oh, I have one more thing I wanted to say. These Obermart, Bricomart, whatever they are, construction white bags have mulch. I discovered that the local Greenpoint not only takes the things that I don't really want, in particular my thorny bindweed for composting, but they also, you can take a bag of mulchy, it's not really compost, it's mulch, a bag a week. So if you're dropping off the broken printer or bringing green waste or kids' toys or whatever it is they take, and you remember to throw in a sack, you can bring some in. And even though it's not super clean, there's banana stickers and a bit of plastic to sort out of it. I think if I ever get them to call me back about my chicken license, that it would make as good a base material as any for this small space to help absorb the nutrient that comes from lots and lots of chickens. So the plan is to leave these couple of fruit trees in the middle, work around my hollyhocks and figure out how to protect them once there are birds in there. And then basically just kind of treat this like a chicken compost site to the extent that I can. And that shed has firewood in it, which is a strange use for it. I wish it were a little greenhouse, and maybe I could get myself in there, but it is metal and solid, so probably not. At the moment, there are just a lot of decisions to make about what to do with so much stuff. And I am keeping my eyes on the vacant lot. Maybe you can see I was there when that little pine cracked and fell in a windstorm. We've had some significant years of drought. And so we are losing pines that maybe in other years would have just rolled with it. You can see there's a hole in this pine straight ahead of me, and I'll be watching to see who's making that. I wonder if we've got something local like a woodpecker doing that. I need to pay more attention to the birds, but that's my garden update. Wish I were feeling better. Hope you're feeling well where you are, and wish me luck for a mild, wet winter. Maybe some of what I started will persevere. Bye.